Hello and welcome to our Day 5 lecture for Upward Bound Advanced Math Cryptology. Today we're going to look at kind of a combination of two ideas that work really well together, and they sort of bounce off each other and they work out really well to be taught together. So hopefully we can make our way through it and be okay. Today we're going to look at, first of all, kind of trying to crack keyword ciphers. Again, cracking is very difficult because you don't know the keyword, you don't know the key letter, but you do know some things. You know that somewhere in here is a keyword. We don't know how long it is, we don't know where it is. But then we do know that after that, whatever's not used in that keyword is going to go there, and then before that keyword, whatever's not used is going to be X, Y, and Z. Now, a lot of times you can kind of count, and again, it is a guess and check kind of a thing, but you can kind of count on X, Y, Z being together. Not a whole lot of words use those three. Some of them might use Y, or, it's again, there is some guess and check involved. That's all I'm going to say. But like if you maybe find Y and find Z, or find A and B together, a lot of times you can count on just before that or just after that being where the keyword's located. It takes, like I said, it takes some guess and check, and it takes some other skills as well. But more importantly, it takes determination, it takes drive, and it takes time. Okay, so there's going to be some parts of this that I'm going to sort of speed through that, well, how'd you figure that out? Well, it just took time. Because what we do like to look at is we like to look at letter frequencies, which is just saying how common a letter is in the message that you have, and then using some basic ideas from traditional English text and English writing to think about what the substitution might be. Because again, a keyword cipher is just a substitution cipher. That means that E comes from a letter. Okay, A comes from a letter in ciphertext. Okay, and we're going to use those ideas to sort of help us out. And we talked about cracking Caesar ciphers, which, okay, yeah, cracking Caesar ciphers isn't that bad, but it still took time. And so think about the time that took. But with that, there were only 26 possibilities. If you look at a message that's encrypted using a Caesar cipher, and you just say, I'm going to go through all the possibilities, there's only 26 of them, right? So eventually you're going to get there. And you could probably say, just by looking at it right away and say, okay, well, there's only 25 possibilities. It's not a zero shift, right? Because this doesn't make any sense. So it has to be some kind of a shift. Now, for us in using keyword ciphers, it's not so easy because we don't know how long the keyword is. We don't know a whole lot, but there's a lot that we can use. And the first thing we're going to start with is checking letter frequencies. What I want you to do is look at your ciphertext here, and there's even more down below it, obviously. And I want you to go through and find a way, but count up the number of N's. And there's two ways to do it. I'll let you pick which way you want to do. You can either go in ciphertext order and say, okay, there's an N, there's an I, there's a U, there's a P, there's a Y, and you'll get there eventually. And that's one way to do it, and just tally them up. Or you can look through and say, all right, I'm going to count up all the N's. Right? I'm going to count up all the N's. It's going to take time, no matter which way you do this. I don't know if there's one way that's faster than another. I really don't. But I could go through and I could say, all right, I'm going to find all the A's. There's 10 A's. I'm going to find all the B's. There's 13 B's. And so on. I'm going to give you a hint here. There's 132 letters in this ciphertext. So whatever you get should add up to 132. But I'll let you determine how you want to do that. But go ahead and pause the video now and get that done for me. If you're still unsure, if you don't remember what I just said, pause the video, count up all the letters, and then get back to me. Okay, so I'm going to assume now that you've done that. Now, in that assumption, hopefully this is what you came up with. Now, there are other ways, there are things that you can do that I didn't do. I didn't look up a frequency counter and type in the message and have it just count it for me. I didn't do that. Now, the other assumption there is that as I'm trying to type what is clearly not English, there's no way that I made a mistake. I might have made a mistake. I don't know. I didn't proofread it because I can't look at gibberish and proofread gibberish. But these are the numbers that I came up with. Okay. So then tallies again, like you'd be doing this. You get 5 O's and 3 P's. That's what tallies and number means, is that I'm just putting the total number over here. I'm not going to fill in all the tallies. I'm just trying to transfer my data over here. And then we'll talk about how we're going to use this. And I'm going to kind of use it multiple ways, or I guess use multiple different ideas to try to help. That was dumb. Yeah, that is Y. I'm trying to write how many Y's were there. And so here we go. So these are all the numbers that I came up with, and you can look at them. I'm not going to read through all of them, but I came up with 0 A's, 8 B's, 3 C's, 8 D's, and so on. Now, it's been found that in standard English writing, the most common letter that's used is E. And the second most common used letter is T. Now, how are we going to use that? Well, what we're going to try, and again, this is a guess. It's a guess and check system. We're going to take our most common letter, which I found to be Y. And we're going to say, just as a guess, that Y is going to be an E, making our cipher strip this, that E came from Y. And I'm just going to go through and fill out, every time I see a Y, I'm going to put an E. And we've done this before, and this is probably the best way to do it at this point, okay? Because we don't know a whole lot. Now, we do know a couple other things that we can guess and check on when we get there. But typically, your most common letter is either going to be E or T. There's enough of a gap there that I can go ahead and guess that my Y's are going to be E's. But after that, it's really, the differences, and we'll look at the percentages here in a little bit. The differences after E and T are pretty severe. I guess I forgot one right there. But the differences are pretty severe. And so I just said that since I had so many Y's, I think that I can probably guess that, there's probably going to be more than that I missed, and you can probably spot some that I can't, but my mind's going a million miles a minute here, just to make some things happen. So I'm going to guess that I'm going to go out on a limb, and this is a guess and check system. There's not really a better way to do that. But I'm going to guess that Y, that most common letter, is an E. And I'm going to take my second most common. Now, even with that, I've got a 13 and a 14. So we're going to go out on a limb, and I think those are my next highest, right? 13 and 14 between my U and M. Yeah, and N's not too far off, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the next most common, 14, the M, is a T. And I think I remember, I think there's a typo in this ciphertext. I really think there is. And I think it's that, I think it's that this isn't M. So that would change our totals a little bit. I think that this is supposed to be a cipher M. Yeah, in fact, now that I look at it, I'm sure that it is. But I'm going to say that M, and so that would change our frequencies a little bit, giving a little more discrepancy between these ones. That this is actually 15 and this is 10. I think that's what it is. I know that there's at least one typo in here, and I'm pretty sure that that's it. So we're going to say that we're going to make that M, because it's still a pretty common one. We're going to make that M come from T. So my table would look like this. Now I want to copy this column here everywhere that I see an M. So I'm going to put T's all where I see M's. And I think there's 15 of them. Again, make this switch, please. Switch that cipher N to a cipher M. It's a problem that I do run into every once in a while when I'm trying to type in ciphertext. It's really hard to not make things that are actual words. And it makes it really hard to proofread as well. In fact, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll type out my message, I'll type out my ciphertext, and then I'll just go through and I'll delete my top row of all these little cells here. So I'm just trying to make sure that I get them all. Yep. So missed quite a few here. Yeah, that seems okay. All right. Now, I am going to use some skills that we've done and that we've used in the past. I have 2 one-letter words here. The problem is there's not a good way to go at this and have it be okay. It is going to take a kind of shot in the dark, a pretty big guess, but we can use these a little bit to our advantage to know that there's 2 one-letter words in English, and we can let our more common of those 2 to kind of take precedence. So we found that there's more U's than N's, and those are my 2 one-letter words, are U and N. Out of those, the most common is U, and in this list, A comes before I. So this is the common letter list. A is more popular than I, and in our list, U was more common than N. So I'm gonna keep that list going, and I'm gonna say that U is. I'm saying U is A. A is U, and I'm going to let the N one-letter word be I. So that's the way that I'm going to do that, okay? So I'm going to say that this is I, and all my U's, there's probably, that's a ciphertext I. So I'm just going to go through. I'm going to go find all my N's right now and put I's above them. That's the way I'm going to do this. I'm trying to kind of do 2 things at once, which is a little bit scary. So I'm looking for N's right now. N's. There's quite a few of them. N's. Finding N's, putting I's above them. Again, I like to tell myself that so that I don't get mixed up, because a lot of times what I'll do is there's an I, I'll put an N, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm going the other direction. Finding all my N's and putting I's above them. Putting I's above N's, putting I's above N's. Okay. And that was my lesser common of the two. Now I'm going to go find all my U's and put A's above them. So I'm going to find my U's and put A's above them. Find my U's. There's quite a few of them. Find all my U's and put A's. Find all my U's. Where are my U's? Running out of U's. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. I think that's all my U's. I think it is. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to use some just kind of context clues. I see a three-letter word here, one of my favorite three-letter words that has an I, but it starts with a T, ends with an E. That's probably the. Again, we are guessing. So at H, it's below it is an I. And I'm going to go ahead and fill all those in. Now, they are weird I's, I agree. It's not how we write a capital I because it looks like an L. But we can just go ahead and do that. So we're looking for those. I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any I's. Eyes. This is a quote, so at some point it's going to start to piece itself together. Well, we can Wheel of Fortune this, as I like to say, at some point. Well, we've got to get some more involved here. Okay. All right. I think that's all of the I's. Yeah. Now, are there any other short words that I might be able to maybe here I have THI and I have L. And I only have a couple options there. But I have an L. I'm thinking of four-letter words that start THI. And I can think like thin or this. And I would think that this would be more common than thin, but we are going to jump out on a limb here, and it's true, so it's not that big of a limb. So I'm thinking that this could give me a this. So L is S. Okay, L is S. So I'm looking for L's now. I'm going to put S's above them. Looking for L's to put S's above. And I kind of got that from this also. And kind of ends of words being plural, that kind of a thing. I didn't have very many, did I? Very many L's? There were 6. I don't feel like I wrote 6 S's. Just double checking. Maybe I did. Okay. All right. Some other context clues. I've got some shorter words here. This one may help me a little bit. How many three-letter words that start with A and have a repeated letter? I'm thinking that's probably all. That word is probably all. So B's would be L's. And I'm going to fill it in up top in just a second. But B's, I'm looking for B's. Looking for B's. There's a couple. And I think I'm out of B's. So L came from B. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the fact that we are dealing with a keyword cipher here. I feel like there's a lot that I haven't filled in here. Maybe not, though. I've got I, I've got S, I've got E, I've got L, I've got H, I've got A, and T. Yeah, maybe that's about it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, there's not a whole lot. Oh, that's an S. Missed an L there. Okay. What about four-letter words HA blank E? HA blank E. It's not going to help us too much, but we might be able to see some things. Thinking have. So above V is P. Okay, so above P is V. Above P is V. I've got another one here. Sorry, but it does just take some work. It's not. I may have missed another one, but I'm okay with that for now. But I do want to talk a little bit that we are dealing with a keyword cipher. Okay, so I see N here and I see LM blank P. That probably means that this is an O. Did I have any O's? I had 5 of them. So above O is U. That's what I'm guessing right now. Above O is U. And we are taking a lot of guesses. I understand, but above O is U. Apparently I had 5 of them. I haven't put 5 of them on here yet. Get a couple though. Okay. So thinking of it being a keyword cipher. So now I do want to do a little counting. Okay, because I think that can help me out. I'm feeling that since I have LMOP here and N here, that somewhere in this region is my keyword, and sort of the start of the alphabet is here. So let's do a little counting of letters in between. So C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So I don't have room for I and J. So, well, I is already on there. So I'm saying I is in the keyword and N is in the keyword. I know that much. So I doesn't go there. So there's one other letter in here that's in the keyword. And I don't really know what it is. But that's what doesn't fit there. So then on the other side, it could be Q, R, S, T, and then U. So this actually works out. And what I mean by that is by what yes, I have kind of made assumptions so far, but we're kind of running with those, and we have to. What about between U and Y? So this would be U, V, to U, V, W, X. That works out too. V, W, and X. And then, we're kind of looking here. It's either Z or it's the start of the keyword right here under F. Now, there's a lot here that I've filled out that I can go through and fill into my ciphertext. And maybe our next best bet is to go with those assumptions. So let's go ahead and look. Do I have any V's? Did I have any V's in that ciphertext? I had one, and it's going to be a V. Sorry, V is going to be B. Did I have any V's? I said I had one. Again, this is a process. It takes time. I know that we're taking a lot of time here, right here. V becomes B. Okay. And then W's. I had W's. I had two W's. And they're going to be C's. Above W is C. C, we're actually almost there. It's kind of nice. Above W, there should have been another one right there. Okay. And above X, I had some X's. I had 7 of them, and it's going to be a D above X. 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 Looking for X's, that means. All right. And we can probably take some other guesses. I would think so. Some other things that we filled out. Above S is a Y. I don't have E or D yet. I don't. And that's what's there. I got a Q. That's going to be W. I don't have J either. I don't have F. I probably could, but I don't. I'm looking for like S's and T's in the ciphertext. Q, the W. And maybe you can guess at this point. Maybe you can take some leaps of faith. Above Y is E. I think I had that a while ago. I did. Above X is D. There's another one of those. Yeah, okay. So let's see. C, I don't have C yet. No. I don't have D. I don't have J. Do I have H? I feel like I do. I don't. All right. So at this point, I think we're going to go for solving the puzzle a little bit for time and other things. So I'm going to say that Z does go here. And again, it's that idea of taking time. I'm looking for Z's. I had 2 of them, and they become F's. Z, 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 Z. Should be another one. Where is it? Right here. Okay. And I'm going to let you finish that. It is a famous quote. You can fill in some pieces that are going to fill in the rest. It turns into a keyword of king with a key letter G, and the cipher strip looks like that. And you can fill that out. Okay, it's the I have a dream quote. Down at the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and skip that for you, but it was going to be looking for letter frequencies. The standard letter breakdown, what we come up with, and this is what we're ending with here because I'm going to make you do this as well, is E happens 12.7% of the time. It's a guideline, it's not a rule, but E happens a lot. Okay. And then T is followed by that at 9.1, A at 8.2%. O and I are sometimes very interchangeable at 7.5% and 7%. And then after that, we get a lot of other breakdowns. So what I want you to do to wrap this up is you've got another message, okay? And I gave everybody the hint. You can find the hint in the next video, okay? But it's a quote from a character. But go through and do the same kind of thing. Find the frequency of the letters, find the number, find the percentage. To find the percentage, we take the total number of letters. And that last one that we just did together, there were 132 letters. I think this one has less, but I'm not sure. So there's 132 letters in that last one. And to find the percentage, we would have taken our number, divide it by 132. In this one, there's not 132, but I think there's less. And another thing. Names get weird. So when I'm figuring out the tallies, I do not include the author, right? This is the author of the quote. So I don't include the author. Okay, but I go through and I do all that stuff and it works out towards the end. Okay, and then I left a column here in case you want to put a guess. Like if you've got one that's like 12%, I would guess that's an E. If you've got one that's 9%, you can guess that's a T. But more importantly, I go with my most common, I guess that it's E. Second most common, I guess that it's T. It's not, these aren't going to follow line by line that, oh, I had this show up 1.9%, so that has to be a P. That's not guaranteed, okay? But you can use it as a guideline, but try to crack that message down below, okay? Other than that, I hope you have a great day, and we will see you in class.